Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. Tonight we are blessed with Mason Rodrigue, aka 1-6 Finest, aka Rodrigue, aka Rock Eater. How we doing?
We're living the dream out here, dude.
Looking swole over there, dude.
We're
Steak and
lifting weights,
eggs,
shooting
right,
guns,
dude?
we're making
Cranking
money.
110s, dude.
Yeah,
I
dude.
see you. Okay. So talk to me a little bit, dude. You over here looking swole, just got out of the Iron Gauntlet. You ready to talk with me, dude? I'm trying to
Yeah,
hear
let's
this story, dude.
let's chat. We can chop it up a little bit. We can chit
Let's do
chat.
it. So for a kid that was born between a bio and a sugarcane
Do you
field
even
in
know
New
what that is?
Orleans, fill me in. Come on.
It's like we couldn't be from more. That's what I love about the
I
Marine
know.
Corps, dude. It pulls people from every end of
Absolutely.
the
I
country
love it.
together. But yeah, I didn't even catch
Educate me.
that. Yeah, dude. A bayou is a very slow-moving body of water that flows. That's all I know about it. It's just very slow-moving. It's like bigger than a creek. People like from up north are like, it's like a creek. I'm like, I don't know what a fucking creek is, but it's something like that. Yeah.
Wait, so you guys don't do like the wind boats, do you?
An airboat.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, those things are super expensive. The only people who own those are like people who do tours or
Gotcha.
like commercial fishermen who have to like, fucking cover a lot of ground. But
Facts.
those boats are like 80 grand.
Damn.
Yeah, but
Okay,
they
you got to
got
be
them
dedicated.
down here. So.
So 12 years old, you're looking like Andre the Giant, you know, beating up everybody in middle school, taking lunches, slamming lockers. Then you stop growing, dude. You start hitting the weights.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me about growing up, dude. What was it like? I'm from
So
Boston, dude. I don't know bayous and all this. Come
I
on,
use
fill
in
me in.
South Louisiana is heavily Catholic. I went to a Catholic school, so we have that in common with
Yep.
Matt
Yep.
for sure. The Cajun French, and uh, I'm the oldest of four. Growing up, I don't know. When I talk about my childhood, I'm like I feel like I blocked out a shit ton of my
I know,
childhood.
dude. I always say that, dude. It's funny.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
so
like
you had four all boys?
I'm the youngest is a girl. She actually just got engaged, so I don't
Damn.
put her on
Okay.
social media because she's very attractive, and all my followers are Marines and they're fucking hounds, and
You're
they're
not
just
trying to
not.
listen to that shit, right?
They're
Yeah.
not worthy, bro. Like I know.
Not
I
worth it.
matched with some girl on Hinge, and she's like, "Oh, She's like, "You seem perfect for me." I'm like, "Oh, lower these expectations," but I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Oh, she's like, she said." You must be strong-willed and have high moral character to be a Marine. I'm like,
Very
you
true.
got half of that, right?
Yeah. I didn't want to say that.
Do you know any Marines? I became a worse person in the infantry. But anyway,
So
yeah. So growing up, I started playing football at like 10. I
what are
was
we
like the
playing? Are we
tight end.
defense?
What's up?
We played defense?
So they started me out at tight end because I was tall for my age,
Okay.
and then I never grew any taller, and I moved from the outside of the line right to center. So I
Oh,
had the
nose?
quarterbacks feeling up on the gooch,
Oh,
getting
you were
up in there.
you were actually a center.
Yeah, I was a
Okay.
center. Yeah, I was a
Fucking
plug,
brick
dog.
wall. Gotcha.
Plug.
Okay. The
So
plug.
the plug. And
So how'd you guys do?
I was like my high school.
Yeah.
We were fucking really good every year. It was like typical all white kid Catholic high school type offense where it's the wing tee and you're just
Yep. I fucking
pounding
hated
dudes.
playing against the wing T, dude. I
You
was a nose
only
tackle.
The only way to even be on the team was to not miss workouts in the off season. And we were such a physical football team that like dudes would have gym memberships, work out in the
Did you
morning.
actually do it though? You guys hit it on the off season together?
Dude, our off-season strength and conditioning was nuts. My senior year,
Really?
we had 20 kids bench press over 300 pounds.
Come on.
I swear to
Really,
God, dude.
dude?
I have no
Oh
reason
shit.
to lie
Okay.
about this.
Okay.
And they've always been that way, dude. Every year, there's at least two or three seniors on the line that are bench pressing at or near 4.
So you know that feeling of just like, because I had a very similar situation, dude. We all cranked it in the off season, and when you get with a unit like that of guys that all lift, you get to a plane of just destructiveness that you can wreak on
The
people.
amount of fucking just like alpha test competitive, just that like high test teenage. And like
Really,
that's what I love about the in the infantry, especially
I was
being in
just
like
gonna say that.
a machine gun platoon is the
I
offensive
was just
line.
gonna say the machine gun. Oh, 0351. If
Oh,
I'm
331s, but
0331.
31s, yeah. Fucking gang. Oh wait, wrong tricep.
Show it, baby.
Fucking
Okay.
gang tab. But anyway, so yeah,
Set you
we
up.
just
Set you up
we
perfect
just
for it.
ate that shit up, dude. And I was always like good in high school too. I tested into ninth grade English in middle school. I was in honors English, but I was like a class clown. I like didn't.
So you didn't take shit seriously.
I didn't take shit seriously because this is the thing, dude. There's people who study really hard and they're really good at all of learning, but I think I'm good at pattern recognition.
Wow.
Well,
I know
I think
exactly what you mean. I know
that's
exactly what
what
you
it is,
mean.
because I would be able to sit in class and tell. Like I would be able to tell based on just reading the teacher, like
Where she was going with it. Yeah.
well, this is going to be important. This is probably what I need to know. This is, this and that. And so there's certain shit that just came, like English and history came naturally to me because it's just storytelling.
Yep.
And then I did well in science, fucking geometry and fucking calculus and all that shit, dude. You start putting letters with the numbers and telling me to solve for find X.
You're good at that?
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
me
not.
either. Okay, me either.
Yeah, so like they said, you're either right or left brain, and one of them is more like artistic, creative communication and all that, and the other one is like more like the other shit, right? Excuse me. I'm gonna be burping a little bit. I had a really big meal after I left the range today, but so yeah, school was just kind of, I don't know. It came too easy to me, so it allowed me to like screw off. My parents were divorced. My mom worked in the office at a construction company, and I looked like this at 14. So she got me, like I was working like grown man, 10, 12-hour a day construction.
Were you buying beer for everybody?
What's up?
You buying beer for everybody? You made the packy runs?
Sometimes I was that guy in high school. Yeah, definitely. I looked older and I like started hitting the weights hard. And I was like that, right? So high school ends and my entire identity is wrapped up in football, similar to how it would eventually be wrapped up in the Marine Corps. Like all of us,
Corps, very similar. Yep.
We've all been through that. So to me, I'm like, I can't let this thing die. I'm 5'8". They had me playing offensive line like a jackass. So I walked on. There's a small college in my hometown. I played fullback there for a year.
I was going to say that's a perfect position for you, fullback.
I was good at it, dude. I
know about dropping that head and fucking.
The dorm room had solid wood doors, about as thick as my fucking head.
Yeah.
And before I walked on, I literally would get in a 3-point stance like the day before. I just started running into the door. I did that for like 10 minutes until I quit flinching.
I already love it.
I was like, all right, if I hit somebody that hard tomorrow,
they're going down.
I'm good. And like, sure enough, that shit works. So, but that was really like the thing. I bounced from like major to major. I really didn't know what I wanted to major in. And like, it was kind of expected in my family. Like my grandfather, he grew up like swamp people, like in the fucking swamps. His family were, his family
savage.
Were
real savage.
They were trappers. They lived off what they could grow and catch, sell, and then eat for generations. And then he was the first one to get a college degree. My great grandfather like encouraged him, like, hey, they just opened a college. And
we're talking about your grandfather or your father?
This is my grandfather.
Grandfather, gotcha.
So he became the first person in the family to get an education. He came back.
Hate this generation. He would hate this generation.
Dude, he died in 2015, and at that point he was so like, he's like, I'm not even following the news. I could care less. Like that's a y'all problem.
Yeah.
But so all of my dad and all of my uncles, they went to college. And it was just kind of it becomes like the expected thing. But I was bouncing from thing to thing, and I went to
no LSU. Military with all them.
No. So on my mom's side, this is an interesting story. We'll dive into that at some point. But on my dad's side, no military background. But shit, where was I? So I'm at LSU. I tried to walk on there. I had a knee injury, and then that kind of shot.
What'd you do? ACL?
Yeah. So at that point they're like, hey, we got 5.5 foot tall bodybuilders lined up around the block to play fullback here. So we don't. They're like, hey, thanks for coming out.
You're a dime a dozen, right?
So then I jumped over to rugby. I got a degree in kinesiology, which is strength and conditioning, which is like, sure, now I know how to work out. I already knew that. Like,
yeah, exactly right.
I don't want to like sound like I'm blaming my parents, but their generation gave advice to our generation of like, hey, just go to college and study whatever you want. And they had this idea that if you just got a bachelor's,
You'll be
It
all
would all
set.
work out. Yeah, and it's like
It's
the
not like
world
that.
doesn't
Yeah, it
doesn't
doesn't
work
like
that way anymore. So I'm in my final year at LSU, which is year 5.
I
Because
can't believe you went to LSU, dude. You must have had such a fucking good time.
it was a blast. I can tell you right now that Marines party harder than kids at LSU.
No bullshit.
No bullshit.
Okay,
No bullshit.
we'll discuss that.
I would say that the difference is that the bars at LSU make it easier to party hard, but like, so there's a thing
Trust
in
me.
like Tigerland called free drinks on Fridays. It's from 8 to 10. You pay a $20 cover. And if you know the bartenders well enough, like what I used to do is I would actually go to the least popular bar because they're all doing that special to compete.
Just to
I
get it
would go to
going.
the least crowded one to get more drinks.
Get sauced up.
Yeah, so once you know like a bartender pretty well, you hit them. Hey, so you spend 40, right? Cover hey, I'm giving you 20. Boom, I want the service as fast as possible. And dude, whatever you want, fly. It's gonna be bottom shelf, but like free drinks.
Fuck it.
So like, imagine if you gave Marines access to that.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Yeah. So, but anyway, so LSU in the last year I went, I was going to try to go the officer route. I got
Surprised you didn't.
I got arrested for a DUI at Mardi Gras that year. So I have bounced back. I'm glad this is called the Hard to Kill podcast because I've bounced back from a lot of
I'm super happy you said that because that's a big thing with Hard to Kill, dude.
Yeah.
It's all about taking the knocks and keep on going, bro.
I have bounced back from a shit ton of bad decisions. I would say so. Like the culture around drinking in Louisiana is like we're known for it. New Orleans is known for it, and we kind of embrace it. We have festivals throughout the year. Every get together is there's a ice chest full of beer at it, and
where'd they get you driving like around Mardi Gras or leaving?
Leaving, yeah.
It always happens.
Yeah, I was and I'm not condoning drinking and driving.
No, yeah, dude. We all fuck up, bro.
So that happens. I'm on 2 years of probation. This is a fucking great little story. So
this is before Marines.
This is before I enlisted because of this DUI, but they put me on 2 years probation, and while I'm doing that, I'm just gotta wait.
You're how old?
I was 23, just out of college.
Gotcha.
So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, well, what the fuck do I do? Like I had this personal training degree that I really can't use. I hadn't built up, but I was working as a personal trainer, but I didn't have the clientele for it. So I went right back to construction and then got a job in a chemical plant that actually makes the shit that was spilled in Ohio.
No way.
A lot of plants, so between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, there's 77 different chemical plants and refineries. They make fucking everything because it's shipped internationally on the Mississippi River and then by railroad all over the country. Like there's a ton of industry here that you really don't need a college degree to work in, and it pays pretty fucking well.
Yeah.
So, I'm living in Baton Rouge and I'm, driving across the river to some fucking plant, fucking clocking in and out, doing blue collar shit. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do because I got this degree. It really it's not great. I was making good enough money. It was blue collar work and swing shift, days, nights, 12s and shit like that. And I did that for about a year and a half. And then I was about to go fucking, get the credentials to become a high school coach. And then I was going to start teaching and coaching high school football.
Oh, that'd be dope.
And then the fucking Marine Corps recruiter comes back around.
Ooh.
You know what he tells me? Because I had basically gone back to my officer selection officer. He was a Mustang. Started talking to him. I'm like, what if I enlisted? He's like, do you know what you're asking for? And I'm like, dude, the best you guys can do for me in the officer side is reserves. I want to really do it. I want to go all in.
It's a big
I got
thing with
buddies for reservists, nothing against them. A lot of reservists, when they deploy,
but why?
Because you can kind of have some balance to your life, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm doing the Marines. That's like an oxymoron, dude. You join the Marines to do the reservists. It's like,
I know. Well, back in the day when they were actually
not hating on it, but at that age,
I know.
when you first decided to join,
people. I feel you. Trust me, I'm in the same mindset as you. But I've met some people who have done it, and the reservists that get activated, they basically drop their fucking life and do a full workup and go. The only difference is that when it's over, they get to fucking go home and like.
It's really like that, though.
Some of them, yeah.
How you really think a reservist gets like a good pump, though? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, some of them did. It just depends. Some of them, like in Iraq, like a lot of them for getting it. That's neither here nor there, right? Basically, the officer route. I'm not tall. I'm not a great runner. I have way too many waivers in the way. Plus, like, you aren't guaranteed infantry. I'm like,
Facts.
I'm like, I'm not getting any younger. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to just make it happen. And he's like, you know, you're gonna have like a 19-year-old kid yelling at you, and I'm like, fuck, it is what it is. Dude.
Yep.
Like, you know,
No, I hear you. I hear you.
So, you know, they're like, all right, let's see what we can work. And they kind of start working it. And it just gets kind of tied up in the weeds. And like, I gotta stop hearing from them. And then it's the week I start fucking looking into high school coaching. They're like, hey, you still want in?
Of course.
Yeah, I want fucking in, dude. I want in while like we can still deploy somewhere.
What year
like,
is this?
This is in 2016. So this is kind of like when Operation Inherent Resolve in Syria and Iraq is like kind of peaking. And I'm like, if there's a time to fucking get in, it's right now. And then I go. And it's funny enough, dude, when I was in ITB, we were at the fucking chow hall, one of like the fucking 3 times we ate at the chow hall. And on the news, why is my fucking camera doing this? Anyway, on the news, there's this fucking, they're like talking about, I think on Fox News, they're like, hey, the Marine Corps just deployed like all of its artillery to Syria. And one of my combat instructors, he was a 3-4 combat vet, machine gun instructor.
You might want to redo your camera, bro. It got foggy again.
It's okay. But he goes, he looks at us, he goes, some of y'all are going to go to Syria. And I was like, how do you know? He's like, they always fucking flood places with arty before they send in grunts. He's like, so some of you guys are going to end up going. And sure enough, 4 months later,
see you later.
There. Yeah.
Wow.
So
wow.
It happened quick.
Damn.
But yeah.
So what'd you even do for a workup?
Dude, I didn't get a full workup.
No.
So I hit 1.6. And this is actually a pretty funny story. I hit 1.6, and this is around this. There was a point in time in 2016, 2017, they were floating this idea of 0317s being an MOS they would teach at ITB. Now they're just getting rid of it, unfortunately. Yeah, rest in peace to the homies.
I talked to a couple of grunts about that, dude. I mean, I don't want to completely derail you, but how do you feel about that, bro? It's a tough one, man. I mean, what the fuck, though? It doesn't make sense.
There's so many other places to cut the fat in the Marine Corps.
That's what I'm saying. Besides that, we're Marines, dude. Though.
So first of all, having like the 0317 lore, the mystique of it, that's a recruiting tool. Kids sign up to become hogs.
Not only that, are we pulling away from Marines, like being Marines, bro? Like we're putting all of our essential shit into support MOSs, and it's like, bro, I don't know. I feel like they should just dump all that out of the Marines, give it to something else, and let us do our thing.
We're not putting that much into support. Like, so this is the thing. I know a lot of guys who are still in right now. Like some of my juniors are still in. I got a couple peers that are riding it out, and they're hitting. You know, so some of them are coming up.
What's the Lance Corporal Underground saying right now, dude?
So they are getting better training than anyone's got in the last 20. And it's also because they're training more. Think about did you serve when it was like a lot of pumps?
Yeah.
So you're getting maybe 6 months of training, really.
True.
You know.
True.
So like, there's something to be said for experience. But the mission of the Marine Corps is a lot broader than counterinsurgency.
I hear that.
So like the amount of different things they're training to do and how in depth they're getting into all of it is better because there's more time to train. And it's like that's the whole point. Like if we're in between,
I hear you. Yeah.
If we're in between serious combat, you know. So like what we're losing in combat experience because we are losing it.
Facts.
That's just a fact. And look, it's nothing new. Like I think currently, because we have podcasts and we're on social media where we like talk about it a lot, but it's like this has happened between every period of war.
Yeah.
It's the ebb and flow of what.
But still, are we not gearing up right now, dude? You hear the drums, dude. Come on, look at the shit that's happening.
There's a lot of fucking shit happening. There's a lot of moving parts in the world, and I'm not.
Are you plugged into that, or are you not really focusing on it?
I follow the news, but I don't let shit stress me out day to day because I'm just trying to live my life right now. But so I can tell you, like, for my boys who are still in, they're training their dicks off. They're getting better tech. They're getting that. If it was up to me, right, I think the Marine Corps could cut probably maybe half of its support MOSs and let the Navy pick that up or
That's exactly what I was saying.
You know, it's like in a lot of people like to compare the Rangers to the Marines, right? And I think the best way for me to make sense of that is like the Rangers are the Marine Corps with a selection. It's basically the same task, or I'm sorry, it's the same organization structurally. A regiment with 3 battalions, with 3 companies, with a fucking weapons platoon. They work very similar to what we do, but they have a selection. Instead of 20,000 Marines, they have 3,000 guys that are 75th Regiment Rangers. So we would all like the Marine Corps, obviously, to be as elite as possible.
Facts.
But at a certain point, I just, you look at, and like we can all think of the guys in our units who are like, man, you like bottom of the barrel. It's
yeah,
like,
of course.
But our job is different from a Ranger regiment or a fucking, or, like when I was in, so many guys were like, they wish that they could be soft. And it's like, when we are invading Fallujah, soft wishes they could be us. We just have different jobs. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So
it's true.
I'm kind of sidetracked, but yeah, so that's the state of the Marine Corps these days.
We'll talk about that later. Let's get back into you, dude. So Syria.
A lot of patrolling.
Okay.
A lot of patrolling.
Well, first of all, talk to me about it.
ROE.
What are we dealing with here? I don't know much about Syria. You're getting in the country, bro. What do you see? How you feel? What are we looking at?
Syria is probably a lot like Iraq. They border each other. They share, a lot of the same rivers and all this shit. And the mission in Syria, the way that Operation Inherent Resolve was fought was, was the fight against ISIS, right?
Yep.
Who at that point had kind of established from, Syria to Iraq, right? So they had a lot of units from Iraq pushing them towards Syria, and a lot of units in Syria pushing them towards Iraq. And by the time I got there, they were pretty much like, what was left of them was they were in Raqqa, and they were fighting pretty heavily in Raqqa.
Okay.
So a lot of like soft dudes were inserted with the Syrian Democratic Forces, who were also rebelling against the government. There's all kind of fucking layers to it.
Damn,
So the policy was kind of like trying to play fucking chess and stay as far away as possible. So it was not like an infantry forward deployment.
So kind of, would you say you're in defensive positions?
All the Marines there were in defensive positions unless they were on a mounted patrol. There was no like, we were not the ones that were. So our artillery was the big fucking show. You can actually look up and Google. If you Google like Syria Marine artillery, there were a lot of articles being written about how they burn out a fucking howitzer from the amount of fucking arty support, that they were giving.
I mean, is this bothering you, dude? Come on. I mean, you think about it, dude. You're over there thinking you're about to. Come on, how could it not, dude? You want to fucking show your worth? You want to fucking put your training to work? I mean,
it was what it was, dude. And like, that's some shit I had to let go. It bothered me for a while. But at this point, like, it is what it is. I did my job to the best of my ability, and that's all you can do. That's all I can do. So, but it was cool to be a part of that because it was just so fucking efficiently and well run. It wasn't this thing where like, you can't argue that the Marines didn't win in Iraq and win in Afghanistan. Every battle that the Marine Corps fought, they won. Generals and policymakers lost those wars. But in Syria, like once ISIS was done, we left. Like, Trump pretty much pulled out. He's like, we don't need to do anything here anymore because there's no more ISIS attacks on home soil. And like, we're done here. So it was, I'm proud to have been a part of it. It was good. I got to actually go over, IED threats were the big ones.
Yeah. Were you mostly dismounted?
We were mounted. I was in CAT. I was a heavy machine gunner.
Okay. What are you running for VIX?
I was VIC 1. I was the lead vehicle gunner.
Okay. You got a 50?
We had these JLTVs. I was on a 50.
Me too. That's the same thing I did.
I'm a big fan of the 50.
Yep, me too.
Big heavy bitch.
Yeah, bro. Once it gets chirping, everybody gets a running.
Absolutely. So, and that was that. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else I want to say about it. It was just a fuck ton of patrolling.
Yeah. What's the civilian populace like?
It was interesting, dude. The closer we got to Raqqa, the less friendly they were towards us. So like we would fucking do our patrol. Our patrol was basically security for logistics convoys that moved personnel and fucking equipment all over the fucking place.
So you're running long convoys.
Long, dude, like all day.
Now, what are you, Vic one, and then you got
we were
someone
all
what, 4 or 5 trucks deep? Yeah,
dude, yeah, we were. So occasionally we would just have to we would be transporting like personnel, like
kind of like an RCP, like a
yeah, some
route
shit like
clearance.
that. And like when we were doing that, it was just one truck in the middle and like our 4 gun trucks, and we could just fucking fly. But dude, when we had all these log trucks, you're talking about like a 20 vehicle convoy. We're on the road. I had one convoy probably go 20 hours.
5 miles an hour.
Yeah, dude, it's just
Crawling.
fucking long days. But like the closer you would get to Raqqa, to that Arty position, like you could tell like the more and more sketch it would get. But the population further away from that, like we're super appreciative of the U.S. military being there.
Did you roll around with EOD?
We had EOD on site. We
Nice.
had to use them a handful of times.
And you take any hits?
No.
Nice.
No.
Nice.
We cordoned and EOD diffused 3. So we fucking lucked out.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, I know. So
Those are
and
the
then like
scariest things over there, dude. Fuck that.
I know, and that was the biggest fear factor, dude. And like that's something that so in the book, like there's a running kind of metaphor that I would use of like I went over there and then I came home like an IED. Like I came home all fucking wired up, like ready to fucking blow it.
Ooh, that's hard. That's hard, dude. I like that.
So like we'll plug the book a little bit, but
give me the bio real quick, bro. Come on, put it on
the bio from the book. Yeah. The bio from the book.
Lay it on us, bro. This is Rockeater.
Rockeater.
Absolute savage book by my man over
here.
So
I put together this entire book. We edited it. You know, I wrote this over the course of 3 years. I meet the publisher. I fucking, we get it published. Like, hey, we need a bio. And I'm like, I don't take myself that seriously.
I hear you.
So I'm like,
it's hard.
This is what I wrote him. This is what I said him. This is what's in my book. Mason Rodrigue was born between a bayou and a sugarcane field in Louisiana to an alligator and a mafia hitman. He attended LSU to extend his football career farther than it should have gone in the first place and eventually settled for playing rugby. He enlisted in the Marine Corps as a machine gunner to live out his dream of professionally reenacting scenes from Rambo and was sentenced to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. You like that sentence to Camp Lejeune?
Yeah.
I'm proud of that one.
For 5.
After deploying to Syria, a series of self-destructive life choices left him broke, depressed, and identifying as a writer. He is a proud recipient of a regimental NJP and finally earned the rank of corporal in the inactive reserves. He now lives in New Orleans, where he drinks at the VFW, stockpiles ammo, and works on building a civilian legal squad automatic weapon. I was like, what? Like, what do you say in a bio? It's like
Rockeater. Pick it up now. We on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. That's pretty much what you can buy. Signed copies on Dead Reckoning Collective's website, the publisher, or you can get them on Amazon.
You heard it, guys. Grab it. Support the boys. So let's.
Yeah. So I mean, in Syria, I'm not writing yet. I'm not anything because like I hit my 1 year mark in Syria and it happened fast as the fuck. We were on the workup.
A journal?
Dude, nothing.
Oh, okay.
Nothing. I'm not like writing or anything like that. And like my girlfriend at the time wanted me to write because she enjoyed the letter writing thing in boot camp. I would say that is where I got into writing.
Really?
Interestingly enough.
Never before?
Well, like, dude, I took honors English, so I did a lot of essay writing. So I got good at writing. Like I was taught to write well, like I have a degree. I'm not like how do I put it? I'm a meathead, but I'm not stupid. Like,
what do you get out of it? Do you really just like? I mean, because I'm thinking, I'm putting together things you said, dude. You have similarities. We see patterns. I do too. It's followed me my whole life.
When I write, it's therapeutic, and it's rewarding. When I started writing stuff that went into Rockeater, it was very much therapeutic. But sometimes I just, Sometimes it's just I'm like, I need to write about this. I need to fucking get my thoughts out of my head and onto something organized.
I like it.
But I would say like I hadn't written anything since college, and then like you're in boot camp and all you can do is write. So you're writing to mom, dad, the fucking brothers, your fucking
True.
girl all the time.
Very
and,
true.
like I'm in boot camp and I'm trying to fucking explain to them what this is like and tell this story, right? And I think that is what like kind of primed the engine
Gotcha.
for when I did start writing. So I came home from Syria and like you kind of asked about this, like how'd you feel? I was pissed. I thought I was gonna get my fucking car. I thought I was gonna go fucking
yeah, absolutely.
And the Marine Corps does such a good job, not just in boot camp, but then like when you get to ITB, you really get like fucking when you're becoming like a no shit infantryman, like you become part of this culture where it's like we measure everything in combat success.
Of course.
We are training for combat. So
measure shit off what you eat. So
once you can measure that, you have a standard, right?
Yep.
And it's one of those things where it's like I was in country. I was conditioned fucking, we were conditioned too.
Okay. Up on two.
With the 50 cal, yeah, we would
What's
ride.
What's the ROE looking like?
Huh?
What's the ROE?
The ROE is strict as the fuck, bro.
Was it?
Wildly strict.
You have to be getting shot at?
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. And it's one of those things where like also like at this time in 2017, you've heard and learned the ROE from the last 20 years of the GY. So like, it's like, if you're a true student of like what you should know, that in Iraq, IEDs were remote detonated from cell phones. And that in Afghanistan, they were for complex ambushes. And that. So like when we get to Syria, it's like, what are they doing with their IEDs? And they were like, as they were retreating, they just put this shit everywhere.
Oh, really?
Like no rhyme or reason. Like very like, and so, like there were some cities where, this is another thing too, like I had a great platoon commander and they taught us like on the very first field.
Plug him real quick. What do we got? What's his name?
So Lieutenant Moses, he's now captain, if not higher. He's in MARSOC now. But he taught us the concept of flip the map, right? We're in a field op and I'm like a little fucking PFC Rodrigue, like fucking notes. But he's talking about the idea of flip the map. It's like you get your brief, right? You hear everything about them. You know what you got. Try to think about it from their angle. If you were them, how would you attack you?
Smart.
And I always remembered that. And there were certain fucking little towns and villages and shit we would go through where I was like, we're not in a fucking good position. We're very, and especially like, you got a handful of vehicles that are there for true security. Like, we're gun trucks with all these logistics vehicles. Like, I was expecting it for the entire time and to never have it, right? So you come home and you're like, oh, sure, like, yeah, things are fine. And like, you also think like, well, I didn't see combat, so I'm good.
Yeah.
But you're not. You're fucking wound the fuck up.
You're still expecting. I know what you mean.
Nothing but working out, patrolling, fucking McMap, and like actually like, the boys are getting in fights in the fucking tent because we're fucking each other. And,
dude.
So like you come home and it's like, so you're blowing off steam, you're getting hammered, right? I took my girl to New York City actually for New Year's Eve. We got back right before New Year's Eve. So she spent Christmas with me, and then we went up. We stayed in DC with some friends up there. I went to Arlington, and then it was my first time ever going to New York City, and we did the whole thing. It was cool, but the whole time, like, I remember thinking, like, I'm like I should be fine. Like I shouldn't be this anxious. Shouldn't be this wound up. Like, but and so I didn't give myself that like benefit of the doubt because by 2017, dude, everyone understands PTSD. This is not like a new thing. Like,
but you don't want to. You don't want to accept it.
Yeah.
For me at least.
And it's like I don't even want to call it that because it's like it's not necessarily that it was traumatic, but this is what I learned in therapy later. It's like the human body just adapts to what it's getting all the time. Yep. Your input all the time is danger. And the culture, right, for you to fucking fit in and have this social connection within the Marine Corps is puff your chest out, be a bad motherfucker, never show emotion,
Yep.
fucking want to, so like all of that
But you don't realize that carries over, bro.
carries
And
over and it starts affecting your relationships and all
then
this
you're
shit.
locked in, and it's
So after that deployment,
well, you're saying a lot of things right now, dude. When did you get to the point where you could self-reflect and notice that? Because that takes time. That takes time because we're so
it was I
stuck
got
on
to the
op tempo, dude.
I'll tell you when I got to the point when I fucking got in JP and I was on
Now I
restriction.
wanted to slowly get into this, but you jumped right in.
Yeah, but I mean that's the point. So
What happened?
I get home like right around New Year's, and over the next 6 months, my relationships with my family and my girlfriend just slowly deteriorate. I saw her probably every month and a half. Either she would come out to Lejeune or I would be going home for Easter.
Oh, you weren't living together?
No, she was going to nursing school back here in New
So
Orleans.
you're in the barracks.
I'm in the barracks. Yeah. We
Gotcha.
weren't. Yeah. I mean, and this is the other thing too. It's like we met after college. We had dated for 2 years. She's an adult. She's not like some girl looking for BAH.
Gotcha.
She's back in New Orleans. She's getting her nursing degree. But we really wanted to make it work. But
That's tough.
it is tough. But it's one of those things where like I could never like. I thought when I enlisted, I'm like, I'm 26, so I'll be able to like handle it better. I won't get so brainwashed by boot camp because I'm a grown man with a degree. Doesn't work that way, bro. They have it down to a science. You're like, whoever you were before that is gone.
See you later.
You're gone.
Yeah.
You come out like I was a 26-year-old and I was just as much of a stupid boot robot as everyone else. And you get to the fleet and you're surrounded by it and you want nothing more than like fucking just like a crumb of like good job from a senior. When I talk to people about getting pinned and like getting that shit punched in until you're fucking bleeding and all that, and like people are like, that's so fucking like barbaric. And, like,
Nah, fuck that, dude.
I'm like, that was the first time my team leader told me I was a good Marine. I'm like,
it means so much, dude.
I'm like, I like once everyone was out of the room, like I cried, not like in pain, but I was like,
I feel you, dude.
I'm like, I just had all my seniors tell me like I'm doing a good job.
It's like getting inducted in the mafia, bro. It's when you first get your pin. You know what I mean?
But they let you in bit by bit by bit, and that's the way our culture works, and it works well, and
I love
it creates people who are fucking committed to each other and committed to the fucking job, and they won't.
The problem is, dude, you can't just shut that off when you get out, dude.
No, and that's a big part of why I fucking wrote the book and started writing in general. But so and this it's wild, bro. Every time I would go home, I went home maybe 3 times between.
Hold on, I want to save that. I want to get back to NJP.
Yeah, so we're heading there, right? So after deployment to the NJP, about 6-7 months, every time I went home, I would drink to the point where I had an emotional breakdown.
Yep.
And it was just like it happened, and it was just like, what the fuck's going on, And
do you have anyone at this point that you can like bounce shit off and you know what he's telling you is real, or are you just in your head at that point not listening?
Not really, dude, because within my peer group, like I'm 26 or I'm 27.
So you're that person for them usually.
Yeah,
you're that older head.
So even my seniors are still in their early 20s, and we're all kind of going through this thing where we're like
together.
We were all super proud of our deployment, but we were all bummed that we didn't get a fucking car, and we were just kind of dealing with it. And this is the other wild part about it too. Our cap platoon was attached to Charlie, and Charlie was pulled from 1-6, deployed with that task force. We get home, and then 1-6 deploys to Europe and Spain and all that shit. So we're basically just a rogue company.
Really?
We fell under 6th Regiment Command. So what they did to keep us busy was
that's weird.
We did like another, like we basically finished the workup we missed, sort of. Like we didn't do 29 or anything like that, but we just trained a shit ton on Lejeune. And then we went out to Latvia to be part of Operation Saber Strike, which is Latvia, like border. It was like they had recently become a NATO country. This is summer of 2018.
Okay.
So we went out and we trained a shit ton of NATO countries and all that, because like that's what our battalion was doing. So we reintegrated with 1-6, and I suddenly we're like seeing all these dudes we haven't seen in like 8 months, who we were all boots together with, but we're all like not boots anymore. Yep. We're like, I got big moment. I'm like, I got more ribbons than some of your seniors now. Like I'm not, there was this weird tension for a little while, especially when they came home at the very end, and then we all finally reintegrated. It was like, fuck you, but and you know what? over the next workup when I was a senior, like we got super tight knit. But anyway, we come back from Latvia. Instead of going home for the 4th of July, I decided to go down to Florida with my homies because I had 2 of my best friends in my unit were from Florida, and
Florida's dangerous.
made some bad decisions down there. Broke up with my chick. I started seeing this woman in Daytona. I got a little like long distance fucking sugar mama thing going on. Dude, I broke up with my girl because I told her, and I admit this, I'm like, I just don't think it's gonna work out because I'm like, I want in. I told her, I'm like, I'm on a meritorious corporal board. I want to try to go MARSOC. I'm like, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, and I know that you want me out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think we should just
That's
split.
a hard conversation, man.
It was super hard. And but part of it too was I was just like, I just wanted to be a piece of shit. Like I had that dog in me, when you're in the Marine Corps, dude, you just want to you're just like surrounded by this culture of like, we train our dicks off and then we go be degenerates. And like, I was like, to me, I was like, if she's not, plus I'd like kind of popped we started talking about like getting married and she was very like hesitant to that. And in my head, I'm like, if you're not in now, then I just don't, ultimately was what it was, but I didn't handle any of that well. Like I wasn't handling anything well. So this is late July. No, this is August. I'm in the middle of a team leader course, bro. Check this out. So our company's doing this like very in-depth 2-week, just like smash everybody's dicks in the dirt, fucking team leader course. 1 week classroom, 2nd week in the field.
Yep.
And like basically like a prep for advanced school, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So they make me like the class commander. I'm like responsible for all this shit, right? And then we have a 72 in the middle of it. I drive down to Daytona. I get in a fucking argument with this chick. She kicks me out of her place, and I start driving back to Lejeune at midnight.
Terrible decision.
And I'm not sober.
Yeah.
I'm in a Dodge Charger because I just.
Where'd they get you?
Because I just.
Don't tell me they got you at the gate.
Not at the gate, dog. They got me in fucking Georgia.
Georgia doesn't fuck around.
They don't. They got So I'm in my post-deployment all blacked out Dodge Charger I bought because I'm a 28-year-old boot. And
you have a tap out shirt on?
Huh?
Do you have a tap out shirt on? Maybe a set of Oakleys or?
I was in a Hawaiian shirt probably. I was wearing Hawaiian shirts. It was the summer. I was wearing Hawaiian shirts a lot, or I had this one black polo shirt I would wear a lot too. But so it's fucking late, and I'm pissed and I'm angry and I'm like, this bitch kicked me out of her place and I'm like, I shouldn't have broke up with my ex and like, I was just in this place where I was like,
first off, you went too fast, dude. What kicked off that fight?
I don't even remember, bro.
Just something dumb.
We both drank a lot and then
say less. Say less.
Yeah, I haven't talked to this woman in 5 years. Like I wish her well. Like it's like nothing. I
wish her well.
I wish her well.
Dude, drunk women are just complicated. It's just
Marines.
Yeah,
Marines with emotional baggage.
Yeah, it's true.
So I've talked about this night plenty of times now, and I don't know if I'm not gonna say I was trying to kill myself, but I definitely didn't care if I died that night.
Been there. Yeah.
And dude, I topped out that Charger at 157 and
the fastest it could go.
That was it. But they didn't pull me over going that fast, but they pulled me over going pretty fucking fast. So
you were 95?
Huh?
95?
Yep, in some little fucking bumfuck county. So they're putting me through my paces. They're giving me the fucking questions, and I'm not talking. I'm not giving them shit. And he goes, hey, he's like, if you fail, he's like, won't breathalyze me. I'm like, what if I refuse it? He's like, well, this is what happens. And it's basically like, your license is suspended in Georgia. I'm like, well, I don't have a Georgia license.
Yeah, exactly. I would refuse to.
So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, we're gonna fucking play ball, dude. Like,
I would have done.
I'm 28 with great credit. I'll lawyer up. Like, I'm gonna make this work some kind of way. So, he's like,
tell me he calls your command.
He said, yeah. So he tells me what happened.
There's gonna be something about they can't do that, dude. That's such bullshit. I think.
So anyway, I asked him again. So wait, what happens if I refuse? He's like, this is what happens. I'm gonna give you the count of 3. By 2, I was already just right here, like just giving him my hands. I'm like, let's go. Like I'm not like we're gonna go to jail. And I'm telling you, that was rock bottom. That was the worst moment of my fucking life. if I would have had a way to kill myself in jail, I might have. I'm not even gonna fucking lie, dude.
No, be real.
I wanted to fucking. I did not want to be around.
That's everything right there, dude. That's everything. You knew that. You knew
yeah,
that.
well, I'm like, in a matter of 6 months, I have lost the woman I wanted to marry and my career, and I'm a 28-year-old about to be PFC again. I'm like, what the fuck do I do now? You know? So I get back. It's Monday. We're prepping to go to the field. I'm in the first sergeant's office. He reams me the fuck out. He's like, I was literally telling
wait. What exactly is the situation right now? They have you refusing your breathalyzer, and they had to bail you out.
I bailed myself out.
Okay.
I bailed myself out the next morning.
They found out how the cop called. They knew about it right away, or you had to tell them?
I had to fucking fess up to it. Yeah. Yeah. They were. So anyway, so we're there, and I'm in front of the first sergeant. He's reaming me out. He's like, I was literally just telling everyone. I was telling the fucking command you were the best lance corporal in the company. He's like, I hit you with that. Yeah, I mean, he meant it, dude. I was being considered for a meritorious corporal. And it's one of those things where like I was older. I should have been performing ahead of peers, right? Like, you know, they saw all the potential there, and it's like, and you just fucking blew it, you know. So we go to the field, and it was one of those like hard kick in the dick type field ops, because it's a training course that they're putting us through. Plus, like every night I'm the fucking squad leader for all my boys, and like every night I'm just like, I ruined my fucking life. Like I can't sleep because I'm just like, what? I'm like, what happened next?
Yeah.
Like, I gotta get a lawyer. I gotta do all this shit, right? So, you know, I come out of the field. This is a funny story. I come out of the field, and you know, we do this long fucking hike, and everyone's fucking dead. We've hiked like 100 miles in 4 days, and you know, we do the formation, and I get the fucking what are the fucking awards they give out? It's like, oh, I'm the honor graduate, right?
Yep.
For the course. It's like, great, you know. So then like my section leader's like, hey, in the office. So like I'm in the office, my platoon commander leader. My platoon commander was very much like, it happened and we're gonna move on.
Okay.
My section leader and luckily he was about to chop over to 2-7, but he always didn't care for me because I was not the strongest runner. Like, it's one of those things, dude. Because like at my worst, I was like Fallout Boy. At my best, like when I was in Syria and we didn't do platoon PT, I ran 5 miles a day on my own. And by the end of the deployment, I was the 3rd fastest guy in the platoon.
But still, dude, you were clearly a bruiser. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to respect your hitters, dude.
Yeah, and it is what it is. It's one of those things. So like he just didn't, you know. So like when we would have like a very long leave, I would come back like out. I'm like a football player who gets out of shape in the off season. Like if I'm not, I got to condition. I got to peak for the fight. Like I'm not always there. But anyway, so he asked me, he goes, they all call me Rod. They didn't know how to say boss. Nobody does, but he was like, Rod, he's like, do you have a drinking problem? And I go, I don't think I drink any more or less than anyone else in the platoon. He goes, Rod, a drinking problem is when your drinking causes problems in your life. So I'll ask you again.
Well put.
He goes, so I'll ask you again, do you have a drinking problem?
Yes.
And I was like, it really looks like I do right now, Sergeant. So, you know, I get NJP'd and I'm just in the bricks. And I'm just going through it. And,
yeah, of course.
You know, I'm on social media a lot. This is around the same time Goons Up came on the scene, who I think has done more for the fucking culture.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can't pick him up enough, dude.
It was when I came into the Marine Corps, it was still a point in time where a lot of pages were like going out of their way to shit on boots. Who like, it's one thing to like do TikTok boots and shit on boots who who just embarrass themselves,
make mistakes, but just to go over the top and do
make TikToks and like are embarrassing themselves on social media. Like you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah,
but the culture was like fuck boots, like fuck them, like just this and that. And there was also just this very much like, we don't deploy anymore. Wah, like the Marine Corps is gay. Wah, and it's like, sure, being a garrison.
So over my last couple episodes, dude, social media has been a big topic, and how it's coming into the Marine Corps, and they're finally trying to accept it and trying to use it to try to guide, try to help, try to bring some kind of.
I saw you talk to my guy Matt Perry. He like I drink, I catch beers with him every time he's in New Orleans.
Great dude.
Because he grew up out here, and we have a ton of
how do you know him?
through social media.
Oh, no.
So we have a lot in common as being two dudes from Louisiana, but also like we share a lot of views about the Marine Corps, and he's a big supporter of
Great guy.
kind of what I've done, you know, since I've gotten out. But so yeah, it was one of these things too where like I had a bunch of pictures I had taken in Syria that we couldn't post while we were in Syria, right? Never post while you're in country. Just saying. Like that's just bad form.
Yeah.
Take pictures with the like by all means. I wish I took more. Take pictures, take videos.
I know.
Do not post while you're in fucking country, right?
You hear that, Bootsies?
I'm back and Goons Up is like starting his thing, and like, you know, so I'm like sending in pictures. So I'm like on that a lot, and all my friends are like, "Oh, you consider the Goons Up?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, like Goons Up is fuck." There was a time when people were like shitting on Goons Up, like
really,
you could have guys in your platoon who like didn't think Goons Up was cool.
Come on, dude.
I swear to God, bro. But it was one of those things where I was like, nah, dude, like I fucking eat, sleep, and breathe this shit. I love being a machine gun.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you guys do too. You're just fucking disgruntled. And you're letting Garrison Marine Corps make you not like, you know, happy fun time gun camping with the boys.
Yep. Exactly.
You know? So
well put.
So while I'm in there, man, I'm starting to write. And around the same time, like Leo Jenkins has put out some poetry, Justin Egan.
Now, why poetry? Is that just something you've always fucked with?
Poetry. So in all these English classes, like there were certain poets, like there's some poetry where you read it and you're like, I can't relate. But then you read like Rage Against the Dying of the Light, if you've ever heard that one. It's
I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Dude, let me look it up. It's fucking beautiful. It's the guy wrote it to his father about like basically like trying to fight all the way to the end of his life because his dad was like dying. And I don't know like how old your dad is, but watching your dad age and like kind of get over that hill, you're like, man, it kind of sucks, but you know. So I'll read it right here.
Yeah, put something on me, bro.
So, but this is one where it's like I remember reading this in high school and being like, wow, okay, so poetry is like pretty fucking dope. And I've got a post on my Instagram page where it's like poetry is, you know, Cliff Burton's riff on Anesthesia in Kill 'Em All. Poetry is, you know, when Biggie said he's ready to die. Like Tupac has. If
so you're a rap. Okay.
Tupac published a fucking. He didn't publish it. His family published it, but it's all his poetry that he wrote. Yeah, so it's called Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night by Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right. Because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And
fire.
Dude, I watched my grandfather die. He's about 85 years old.
Same here. I had
to
to take care of him too.
Yeah, that's an amazing poem about an experience everyone's gonna go through.
Yeah.
Another one is "If" by Rudyard Kipling, and it's like if you can this and that and like it's got phrases like, you know, if you can like be criticized by everyone but not let it affect you, if you can, you know, if you can fight for one more minute, if you can, like all this different stuff, it's like if, you know, then you can call yourself a man. If is an amazing poem. Invictus, master of my fate, captain of my soul. That's where that comes from. Invictus is an amazing poem too. So, but it was it was taking hold like in the veteran community. Justin Egan is a Marine Corps veteran. He's won multiple awards for his collections. His first two were called Outside the Wire 1 and 2. He was an engineer out of Lejeune, and he did Marja. He did all that shit. He's a 50 cal gunner, been blown up a couple times. And I've met Justin. Justin's
solid dude.
Dope. Justin's fucking dope, but he fucking did that shit, and then he started self-publishing poetry like in 2017. So this is, and then a year later, here I am like reading this shit, and I'm like, fuck.
Savage.
But I'm reading it, and I'm like, well, I can write this stuff too. So I just start writing. I start writing about what I'm going through, trying to fucking like just get it out. And I write and I write and I write and I write. And then, I don't share this with a fucking soul, dude. I don't talk about it. I don't fucking like nothing, because it's like, it's not like to this day. When I meet people like, oh, I published a book of poetry, they're like, no, you didn't, because I look like a goon, like,
of course.
I'm aware of what I look like and how just how I am. Like, I'm not like
dude, there's an art to what we do, bro. Not a lot of people realize it.
What it is too is you experience, bro, like the most intense human emotions at a very early stage of your
young age. I'm just realizing that.
Yeah. So, and the cool thing too, and this is something for me, like being in older, I realized how young everyone was, but they didn't realize how young they were. Cause like they're part of the normal progression of Marines. But I showed up in boot camp and I'm like, y'all are fucking kids, y'all are children. I'm here. I'm like, they literally signed kids up to do this. This is fucking insane. But it's like that prefrontal cortex is not developed yet. And young men, I was talking to Leo Jenkins about this. Leo Jenkins was in the fucking Ranger Bat. He was on Operation Red Wings. Like, he was there when they recovered Marcus Luttrell. He was talking about the fact that, dude, if you haven't read Leo Jenkins, you should fucking check him out.
I will.
I have no problem putting on guys like Justin or Leo.
Put me on the game, bro. Trust me, I'll read them.
Yeah. So, talking to Leo about this, and it's like they recruit young men who are still in touch with that part of masculinity that needs a rite of passage. The only rite of passage left in American culture is the military. That's it. Because for all of human history, men would go through some moment where on the other side of it, they were men, and then they were recognized as men, right? They earned their manhood. Whereas like you ever run into like somebody who's didn't serve, and it comes up that you served, and you're not trying to check their card at all.
But they put it out there. Their insecurity.
They're putting it out there. It's like, well, I would have, but, or this in like.
I went to go join, but yeah.
So that guy has no fucking clue why he's doing that, but that's something very deep in him as a man that's saying, I haven't been tested, but this guy has. And that's you just broke that the fuck down, dude. That's real.
I've spent a lot of time thinking about this and writing about it, and because it was a lot of like, because really at the end of the day, I was trying to figure out why I did it. That was what I was trying to answer. It wasn't even about anybody else.
No, of
but
course.
I also realized like I'm not that different from anyone else. We come from all different walks of life all over the country. We're all here for the same fucking thing. We all in that recruiter's office wanted something that the Marine Corps infantry, the hardest fucking thing you could do that doesn't require a soft selection. We all wanted that for some fucking reason, and mostly because it is hard and you get to fucking have bragging.
I think it's even deeper than that sometimes, dude, because I juggle with the thought, the idea of accepting death. And a lot of positions I've been in have made me do that, especially in country. And I don't know if you've ever been in a position like that. I'm not knocking you if you haven't, but it's a very
you get in touch with your fucking
yeah.
You know, it's a real gut check. So I remember you go through it a few times. You go through it before you sign up, because when you sign up, you know it could happen, but it's still a theory. It's not real yet. You're just talking to a fucking guy in an office, right?
Still, it's the most. Come on, Marines, come on.
So for me, one of the bigger things I was more worried about, because my entrance to this whole recruiting process was the officer side. It wasn't even what would happen to me. I was like, could I live with myself if people died on my watch?
Oh, okay.
That was something I really fucking struggled with before I finally went in and said, like, But at the end of the day, it's like, if not me, then who? And like everyone says that. And it's like, that's true. Like there's only so many people who are going to fucking put their nuts on the line. And some of it,
1%, bro.
and then like an even smaller percent that want to do it with these.
Let's see it. Yeah.
So it's oh fuck. I just spaced out. Where was I fucking going with that?
Good.
But anyway, so yeah, I kind of struggled with that for a while, and then, you know, I was like, I'm gonna fucking, you know, I'm gonna go do it. Like, it is what it is. And that's part of what I love about the Marine Corps too, is the Marine Corps puts you in situations, even in training, but also like downrange. But you're constantly being put in positions where it's like, I don't have time to sit here and think or be indecisive.
You just got to do it.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
You have to walk into the gas chamber.
Yeah.
You have to jump off the high dive.
Yeah.
You have to go off the rappel.
You got to pull that trigger. Period.
You have to pull the trigger. You have to step off on this hike.
Yeah.
No, you cannot stop. Like you don't. So you build up this callus mentally to like just being able to fucking do it.
Facts.
But
I hate to stop you right here. We're gonna take a 5-minute break real quick.
Cool.